What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the River of Money podcast with your host, Burton Newcomb, where we talk all things real estate, small business, talk about creating wealth. And today, I got my buddy Justin Shipp on the line with us, and he's a absolute legend in the real estate space, all sorts of other stuff. We met through a mutual friend. He lives up in Atlanta, I live in South Georgia, and I was up at a mastermind event with my buddy TJ. Thomas Shiver, however y'all know him. And he's like, I got a buddy up here. He wants to go out to lunch. We went up to it and I hung out at Twin Peaks. Justin walks in, and I didn't really know much about him before that. I just knew he was in real estate a little bit, flips houses. I think he used to own a roofing company, maybe still does. He's a real estate agent. He's got a company. He's got a recovery company where people whose homes get auctioned off. He finds the leftover funds, takes a portion of that, returns the difference. And he's got a whole lot of things going on in real estate, and I definitely want to know about what he sees about how the future is going to go, real estate, how he sees the market going, what he sees happen in the market, if we're going to go up, if we're going to go down, if we're going to go sideways. So without further ado, I want to welcome my man Justin on the line. He's also known as the Kaotic Realtor or the Chaotic Man. He can tell y'all about that. But yeah, absolutely. So Justin, tell us about your outlook on the real estate. What do you think is going to happen?
Man, to be honest, I actually just had a post about this. I don't even know if you saw it on Facebook or not.
Yeah, I saw it.
I actually just talked about this the other day. And I mean, I definitely think that it's possible that the real estate market in 2026 is going to be better than it was this year. This year, there was like a noose around the real estate market. I mean, it was just choking us out. I mean, there's been more agents quit this year than in the last decade. I think they said something like 1.6 million realtors was part of NAR last year, and now it's at 1.2 or something now. So you've had like 400,000 agents quit in the past year alone. But I definitely think that rates are slowly going to ease up, probably go into the fives. Currently, they're in the sixes. I don't think that's going to be enough to really make the market boom, but I definitely think it's going to bring more buyers into the market, bring more listings, stuff like that. In addition, the transaction volume is going to climb. Market gets more liquid again as more and more people obviously jump back in and as rates jump in and stuff like that. But I think that people that are learning how to do creative finance subject to and learning how to like get deals off market and stuff like that, I think they're going to have a better chance at finding the better deals, and being able to control inventory is going to help a lot too. So like builders, flippers, stuff like that, where you can kind of control where you're buying and what you're doing and stuff like that. But honestly, I think national home prices are going to kind of stay about where they're at now, kind of flatline, maybe stay slightly sloping, except for in very niche, obviously hot markets where, you know, people are wanting to live, and it's going to hold the prices a little bit better. Anywhere where there's like strong competition, strong jobs, I think that's going to be a really good, area to be investing in, where prices might slightly climb. But overall, I think everything's going to kind of stay sort of where it is now. It's just going to be a little bit more buyers in the market, I think, next year. So I think the biggest thing is affordability, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think affordability is the biggest issue here. And I definitely think that, as rates come down, it's going to bring more buyers back to us, and I think it's going to keep the market kind of leveled off. I mean, I don't really think we're going to have a big crash. I mean, some people think we're going to be like an 08, but I just don't see that happening, or the banks wouldn't be lending anymore, because lending is just so different now, And so
I was going to say the problem in 08 was that we had too much inventory. And although we do have a lot of inventory on the market right now, there's still a lot of people that they just can't buy. That's not the problem in 08 was not that people couldn't buy. It was that we had just overinflation of inventory. We had way too much. Now we don't have enough still, even though there's not a lot of people buying right now, we still are short on inventory, period. Over the last decade, builders haven't really been building, and the prices now to build is so outrageously high, it still really don't make sense for most builders to build. So like, for an example, I just built a house at $165 a square foot, okay? And it costed me $200,000 to build the property, plus $10,000 for the lot. So I'm all in at $210,000. I listed the house for $240, had to drop it to $230, had to drop it to $220. Now I'm selling it for $210 to break even. I'm actually going to lose money on building a brand new construction house that I just built right now. So that's the problem with building right now, is the cost is so high. It actually is cheaper to flip a house or buy a previous house than it is to build a new construction. And that was not the case.
It's incredible, because I work with builders, I work with flippers, pretty much all I do is work with investors and stuff like that, on commercial transactions, real properties, things like that. And I mean, the numbers that these builders make, people think all these developers and builders make all this big money. But I mean, I work with people who flip houses, and I think they make tremendously more. I mean, the builders in most scenarios, I mean, all they're doing is just floating cash. And I mean, D.R. Horton has a huge issue going on. I don't know if you know about that, but they got a huge issue going on right now. I mean, and I just think that, buying the older homes and remodeling them is going to be way better. Although I got a build to rent subdivision I'm planning on building. And I think the build to rent is going to be the next wave in real estate. I mean, but because of the ability issue, Yeah,
I actually just passed one the other day. There's a bunch of them in Canton already starting to pop up, but I was actually in Cartersville last week, and I passed a brand new construction neighborhood. They just built 50 houses on this random ass back road. Like, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and there was just this random neighborhood with 50 houses, and then it said Tricon homes or whatever, and they were all for rent. It was just a build to rent subdivision. And we was just talking to the neighbor, because the neighbor was wanting to sell his house, and I was talking to him about it. And he was like, yeah, that whole neighborhood right there is nothing but renters. And he was like pissed off about it and everything. I was like, man, that's where we're moving. I mean, we're moving to a rental nation. So right now in my opinion, now is the best time to be buying a house, because I think in 10 years it's going to be really, really hard.
Oh, 1000%. I mean, so many people would rather rent than own a house, just because, your refrigerator goes out, your heater goes out, or whatever. I mean, it just being a renter in a lot of sense keeps you more liquid,
Sure,
and I mean, you can listen to all these big real estate gurus, and they always say your rent, where you live, so you can move anytime you want to, I mean, because it's kind of, your equity in your house that you think you're building for the future. When you break out the numbers, it's not really as good as people think,
Yeah, I'll still always buy though. I'm always going to be buying me a house.
Yeah, I like to buy too. I mean, I like to. I don't really plan on moving. I mean, I don't ever want to fucking move again in my life. I mean, packing up furniture and like moving on my shit again.
Yeah,
that's a nightmare for me.
It is a nightmare. I just moved last year, and I mean, I love where I live now, but man, moving was an absolute nightmare, because it was 2 hours away from my house. I was moving 33,000 square foot house, two hours away, going back and forth. It sucked, but we did it in a week.
I gotcha. So where do you think the best deals are going to come from as we move forward in the real estate market?
Off market's always going to be the winning champ. I mean, it doesn't matter how you look at it, but I mean, there's a million ways to skin a cat, right? But the best deals I've ever gotten were always off market, direct to homeowner. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, obviously, there's a bunch of different ways to go direct to a homeowner. I mean, you got direct mail, cold calling, SMS. You can go door knock on them. You can get people calling you from Facebook ads, Google, whatever, SEO. There's a million ways to market and find leads. My bread and butter has always been door knocking and networking. So I basically just use my network to get me all my deals, which I know you follow me on social media and stuff. I'd say 75 to 85% of my deals come from social media, where I'm just constantly putting stuff out there. People know that I'm in real estate. People know that I'm doing deals, and they reach out to me and say, hey, my uncle has a house he wants to sell, or my Aunt Sue has a house they want to sell, or a realtor would hit me up and go, hey, I got a lead on a vacant house. It's really outside of my scope of work, or it's in an area I don't do anything in, or this is like a full gut renovation. I don't even think it's worth listing on the market, and which is baffling to me. But if it's a deal and someone knows that I'm buying, they're going to send it to me. And that's what I try to focus on, is putting myself out there in such a way where no matter what, everybody sees that I'm doing stuff and they're going to send me deals. So as long as you're putting your stuff out there, I think that's the best way, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, same here. I mean, I would say probably 95% of the homes I own or have owned in the past that I've sold have all been off-market deals. I mean, I go to tax auctions, I go to foreclosure auctions, other agents, when they have deals coming to the market that they don't think are going to be easy to sell, they bring them to me, you know. And then I've got a lot of leads off of just YouTube, my YouTube videos and my Instagram and stuff. I'm trying to grow my Instagram more and my social media some more. I've been working on that the last few months, but I mean, YouTube, I've gotten a crazy amount of leads just off my YouTube channel, you know, because I put on there what I'm doing and what I'm buying and what I'm remodeling. Like I bought these 2 lake houses on Lake Eufaula for 340 grand. They're right beside each other. And a dude just found me on YouTube, and he was like, "Hey, do you cover Clay County?" And to be honest with you, I didn't know where the fuck Clay County was, but he said he's like, "Oh yeah, well I saw your YouTube channel. It sounds like you are really hustling and you're really making deals happen. And do you know any agents over there like that?" And I was like, "What do you got?" You know, and he's like, "I got 2 houses on the river, and I like waterfront property." And so I was like, "Well, you know, what's your address?" I put in Google Maps. And I said, "You mean you got 2 houses on Lake Eufaula?" And he said, "Yeah, that's what I meant." And I said, "Well, I cover that area." I was like, "When can I take a look at it?" So I rode over there the next day and bought both of them. So it's 2, it's a 3-1, a 3-2, and each house has an in-law suite. We Airbnb them. It's my favorite. But I bought both of them for $340, and the one 2 doors over from me just sold for $675. I mean, you can't beat those deals, you know. And then when people die, those are some really, morbid as it sounds, I mean, the best deals I've gotten have been from people dying. I bought a house on Devon. I'm flipping right now for 140 grand. This is one of the best, probably one of the top 4 or 5 neighborhoods in Albany. You know, judges, lawyers, doctors, high net worth individuals live in the area. We bought it for $140,000. We're putting about 45 in it, give or take, and we're going to sell it for $350. I mean, you can't get those numbers.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm with you though. The best deals I've ever gotten also were, you know, basically inherited properties or probate deals, stuff like that, like where people passed away. I mean, I had one just 2 months ago that I just did, and the lady lived in Michigan, and this house had been sitting vacant for 2.5, 3 years from her father passing away. And one of my employees happened to drive by, see the house vacant. She reached out to this lady in Michigan, said, "Hey, I see that you're, you know, the owner of this property or at least the administrator of the property. Do you want to sell it?" And she's like, "Yeah, that was my dad's house. I do want to sell it, but I just don't ever have time to go down there and check it out. I don't have any way to leave work and get down there for a week to go through it." And she was like, my employee was like, "Well, I know this sounds crazy, but if you want to, you can look us up on Facebook and social media and all that stuff and check us out. But if you feel comfortable, you can send us the key. We'll go in there and do a video walkthrough. And anything that you want out of the house, we'll pack it up in a U-Haul and bring it to you if you sell us the house." And the lady agreed, and we did. We did a walkthrough of the house. She picked out everything in the video that she wanted, and she told us to pack it up on a U-Haul. We packed up on a U-Haul. We offered her $90,000 for the house, and we bought it. So I mean, there's deals out there, and you can definitely get some good deals. That house we ended up selling for $289,000 after doing a about $100K renovation on it. It's been one of the best flips we did this year.
It's incredible. You know, I bought multiple houses, like my house on Devon. I mean, these people, they die in there, and their relatives or whoever, the executives of their state, whoever gets the state or whatever, right? They live in Florida, North Georgia, Kentucky. They live somewhere else. They don't live in Albany. They hadn't lived here since they were in their 20s or something. You know, they graduated college or whatever. So they have all this shit in their house, you know, all the furniture. And so they just leave everything. In so many cases. I mean, we bought a house, can't remember what road, but it was over near Devon. I mean, my guy who was working on it, I mean, they left every fucking thing in there. I mean, he got guns out of there. I mean, he got lawnmowers. I mean, he got a bunch of stuff out of there, and they didn't want anything to do with it. So I know you're a real estate agent, right? What else do you do in the real estate world?
Yeah, so I've been flipping houses for 10 years. I started off actually wholesaling about 2015 or so. I started learning wholesaling, and when I first got into real estate, I had no idea what the hell I was doing at all. Like I had no previous experience in real estate. I didn't know anything about real estate. I just had I'd made a post on Facebook saying I was wanting to start a new career or a new job, and a buddy of mine in the motorcycle community, he had reached out to me. He was like, "Hey, you should check into wholesaling real estate." And I was like, "The fuck is that?" And he's like, basically, you're like flipping houses. I was like, I don't have no money for that. I don't have any money, and I'm tattooed up. Like I don't like real estate's not for me, man. He's like, you'd be surprised, man. I think you would do good at it. And I was like, why do you think I'd be good at it? He goes, you're good at talking to people. I feel like you would do really well with it. I was like, man, I don't know. I'll check it out though. So he sent me this link to this like seminar type thing, like a real estate seminar. He's like, go check out this seminar. Let me know what your thoughts are. So I did, and it was basically like a sales pitch. They wanted me to pay like $3,000 to learn real estate or whatever. And so I did. I paid $3,000 trying to do this like real estate course shit, and it was absolute BS. It didn't teach shit. It was just basically like super entry level basic knowledge that anybody could have found anywhere. And but it did get me interested. It got me, it got my wheels turning, wanting to go, okay, well, real estate sounds pretty interesting. I definitely think it's something I want to pursue a little bit further. So over the next couple months, I started friend requesting people on Facebook and like reaching out to realtors, reaching out to investors and wholesalers and stuff, and attorneys, and just started asking questions. And I started going to networking events and real estate events, and I just started meeting people and talking to people. And after a couple months of doing that, I jumped right in. I did my first deal. I posted on Facebook, actually, my first deal. I said, hey, I'm looking for a fixer-upper anywhere in Georgia. I don't got a lot of money, but I'm looking for something that I can pay cash for. If anyone has anything, let me know. Well, a guy posted on my Facebook, hey, I got a deal for you. And he reached out to me on Messenger, sent me the address. I reached out to the owner. I made him an offer. They accepted the offer. I got under contract. I sold it for $3,000 more. 2 weeks later, that was my first wholesale deal. And I was like, holy shit, I just made $3,000 in like 4 hours. Like this was nothing. And at my previous job, I was making like $3,500 a month, and I was working 50 hours a week. And I was like, holy shit, like I can make more money in 4 hours than I did almost a whole month of working. So after that, I went like full force into real estate. I quit my job and I just kind of went ham. And my first year in real estate, I did $100,000, a little over $100,000. So I doubled my salary in 1 year because I was making about $50,000 a year. So doubled my salary, made $100,000 first year. Second year, I doubled that. My third year, I almost tripled that. And then I started building out a team. I had an office. I had like 17 employees. I had a business partner. We was doing about 20 wholesale deals a month. And I started flipping houses on the side. So I started doing, 1 or 2 flips here and there. And then one day I walked in the office and I said, hey, I just want to shut down the whole operation. Like, I'm tired of wholesaling. I just want to get into flipping. I just want to do flipping full time now. So we completely restructured our company. We shut down the entire wholesale operation and we just started flipping. So about 7 years ago, we started flipping nonstop, just flipping full time. First year, we flipped like 30 something houses. And then by the third year, we were flipping 60 plus houses a year. So we averaged anywhere from 30 to 60 houses a year for the last 7 years. And during that time, I also ended up opening up Kaotic Fund Recovery, which is a surplus funds company where people lose their homes to auction. We basically go and audit the state, the county, the city, or the attorney's office that handled the auction. And we say, hey, this house was owned by so-and-so. Y'all sold it. There's this much overage on the account. That money is owed to the homeowner. And we get in touch with the homeowner, ask them if we can work with them to collect that money on their behalf for a 25% fee. So we basically collect the money for them. We get 25% of whatever they're owed, and we get their money back. So that worked out pretty good. We've been doing that for the last 3.5 years. And then I also opened up a roofing company a few years back, Kaotic Roofing. We opened up that. It was going pretty good up until last year, but then I started getting way too stretched thin. I had roofing and fund recovery, and I was getting my license and flipping houses, and I was just way too much on my plate. So I shut down the roofing company this year, and I'm going back to just doing real estate full time. That's all I want to do is real estate. So, but yeah, been in real estate for 10 years, wholesale houses, flipped houses. I've done new construction. I've done creative finance. I've done subject twos. I'm now a licensed realtor. I do surplus fund recovery. Pretty much anything that's in real estate, I've got my hands on and I can do. And then actually this year, I actually just wrote this book called Wholesale Hustlers.
Oh, awesome. I didn't even know that.
So I wrote this book actually to teach people how to wholesale real estate, because that's how I got my start in real estate. And if it wasn't for wholesaling, I would have never been where I'm at now. So I went to wholesaling first, and then I graduated on up and to where I'm at now.
Where can people find that book?
So it is on Amazon. If you just type in Wholesale Hustlers on Amazon, it's on Amazon. I think it's also on Kindle. I self-published it, so there is a lot of spelling mistakes and punctuation and stuff. I don't give a shit. I just wrote it over the course of 3 months, and I just put it out there. So forgive me if it's not professional, but it gives you the information you need. That's all I care about. I just wanted to do it to see if I could do it, because I've never wrote a book before, and I'm not very articulate, to be honest with you. I'm not the smartest dude, I promise you that, but I'm very resourceful, and I figured if I can do it, anybody can do it. So I at least want to write a book. So I wrote a book.
Yeah. So the fund recovery business, that's something I learned about earlier this year when I was at an event, and I mean, so how did you get into that? How does that work?
So I got into it because a few years back, this was probably 4 years ago, I think, I was working on this wholesale deal. A girl on my Facebook had reached out to me, and she said, "Hey, Justin, I know you're in real estate. I know you buy a lot of houses. I got a brother of mine who is in foreclosure. He's about to lose his home, and he wants to sell it cash." I said, "Okay, great. Let me talk to him." She goes, "Please treat him right. This is my brother. He's going through a hard time, whatever." I was like, "Absolutely, no problem." So I reach out to her brother, and he's telling me about the whole situation, how he's 3 or 4 months behind on his mortgage, and he's about to lose it. It goes to auction in like 30 days. And I'm like, "Okay, cool. We can still buy it. We have time." So I asked him how much he wants for it. He said, "Well, I had a guy offer me $76,000 for it a while back, but then I don't know what happened. He went ghost on me." I said, "Okay, did y'all go under contract or anything?" He goes, No, he never bought it or nothing." I was like, "Okay." So I was like, "Well, are you still wanting 76,000? And I ran the numbers and stuff, and I was like, 76,000 will work. So I was like, "I'll give you 76 grand. So he was like, "All right, cool." So we go under contract for $76,000 on this house in Rockmart, Georgia, about 4 years ago. And I sent it to the closing office. They're running title and everything. Well, 2 weeks go by, and I reach out to the attorney, and I'm like, "Hey, auction's coming up quick. Can we go ahead and get this thing closed?" He goes, "Well, we ran into someone filed a memorandum on the property. They filed a lien on the property, and we can't find the person." I was like, "What?" So I was like, "What's the guy's name?" So they told me the guy's name. I tried to find the guy that filed the lien on the property to find out what's about, and we could not find him. So I reached back out to the seller, and I was like, "Hey, you know anything about this guy?" I don't remember the guy's name. It was some random name. And he was like, "No, who the heck is that?" I was like, "I don't know, but they filed a lien on your property. Like, did you have this under contract? I know you told me that someone offered you 76,000 for this property. But did you ever put it under contract? You said before you'd never sold it, but did y'all actually go under contract?" He goes, "No, we never went under contract." I was like, "Are you sure?" He goes, "Yeah, I don't think I did." I'm like, "Okay." So we're still trying to get this thing done. And I'm like asking the closing office, I was like, "Is there anything we can do? Because this guy's about to lose his house. We got to close on it." He's like, I cannot close on it with this lien on the property." And we're trying to figure it out, Well, then it goes to auction, and he gets foreclosed on. We could not get in touch with nobody. The office wouldn't do anything. And anyways, it ended up going to auction and got sold. So sister calls me back. "Justin, you piece of shit. You told me you was going to be able to buy my brother's property, all this stuff." And the guy's cussing me out. He's like, "You promised me that you'd be able to close on it," stuff. I'm like, yeah, but I had nothing to do with a lien being on the property, and I can't control what I can't control. I would have been able to buy it if there was no lien on the property, but there was a lien on the property, and I can't just close on it with a lien. So the close office would not do it. They would not close on the property unless that was resolved, and we could not find the person that whoever this was that's claiming that they had under contract. Well, anyways, long story short, they're pissed at me, like absolutely pissed at me, and they're dragging me through the mud. They're like leaving me shit reviews and stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I start reaching out to anybody, like, is there anything I can do to like appeal this foreclosure or like somehow figure out a way to reverse it since we were under contract or whatever. Anyways, during this research period, I'm trying to figure out a solution. I come across surplus funds and I start researching surplus funds. So I reach back out to them and I'm like, hey, look, I know I could not buy your property, but this might have worked out in your favor. And they're like, why is that? I was like, well, your house sold at auction for $89,000. I was under contract for $75,000. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, well, there's actually money owed to you and I can get that money back for you. And you'll actually make more money this way. They're like, how's that working? So I figured it out and I ended up getting them money. I think they owed like 71 grand on their house. So they were only going to walk away with like 4 grand anyway. Now they're walking away with like 15 or something. So we ended up getting it through. I went through the whole process, learned how to do surplus fund recovery, and I got them like 15 grand. And after that, they deleted all their bad reviews and they thanked me and all that stuff. And then they were like referring me to other people going, hey, he actually gave me more than he told me he was going to and all this stuff. And after that, I was like, man, I should probably think about making this into another business model because I could help people. I could really help people. Well, at the time, I was still way too busy. I had too much going on and it was too much on my plate to really start it. But I did go ahead and open up an LLC and I got my paperwork in order and I started kind of doing some piecing it together and figuring it out. But I was just very, very bottom level. I wasn't really doing anything with it. Well, then fast forward about 4 or 5 months and I get a call from a girl and she's like, hey, I just inherited my dad's property. I'm wanting to sell it. But we're a couple months behind on the payments, and I have not started the probate property thing yet. And I'm like, wait, back up. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, sorry, I got referred to you by a friend. They said that you buy and flip properties. I said, yes. She goes, I just inherited my dad's property and it needs to go through probate. I said, okay. She goes, the problem is we're already 3 or 4 months behind on the mortgage. I said, okay. They're about to foreclose in like 30 days. I'm like, yeah. I said, well, you got a couple options here. I was like, option one, you can try to hurry up, start the probate process, hurry up and become administrator so you can appeal it and stop the foreclosure, or you can just let it go to foreclosure. We can do the process after the fact and do surplus fund recovery. She was like, all right, I'll call you back. Did not hear anything else. A couple months later, she calls me back again. She's like, hey, my house sold at auction. I don't know if you remember me or not, but I had some guy just call me and I just want to know if this is a scam or not. I was like, okay, what's going on? She's like, some guy just called me and said that I'm owed like 50 grand and that the house sold at auction for this amount of money and that I'm entitled to it and all this stuff, but it sounded scammy. I said, that's that surplus funds recovery. That's what I was talking to you about before. She's like, oh, well, how's that work? So I explained how it worked. She goes, well, can you tell me how to do it? And I was like, well, that's kind of my job. Like, I mean, like that's why you would hire me is because I would just do it for you. She's like, yeah, but I don't want to lose any of my money. I'd rather just do it myself. And I was like, look, I'll just tell you how to do it. I was like, it's kind of a complicated process, but here's the basic rundown. Go ahead and pull your pen out, write some notes down. So I was on the phone with her for about 20 minutes and told her how to do it. And then I hung up on her. Well, fast forward another couple months, she calls me back again. She goes, hey, I just wanted to thank you. I was able to collect all my surplus funds. I did it myself. It took me a couple months. It was a little bit of a pain in the ass, but I did it. I just want to thank you for allowing me to do it on my own and teaching me without, asking for any money or anything. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'm so happy for you. I was like, actually, while I got you on the phone, what do you do for a living? And she's like, oh, I'm an Uber driver. And I'm like, do you want a job? And she's like, doing what? I was like, doing what you just did. She's like, doing what do you mean? I was like, I need somebody to run my fund recovery company. I'm too busy. You obviously are smart enough to figure it out on your own with bare minimal knowledge. How about you just come work for me and you do it for other people and help other people do it? She's like, well, how would that work? I was like, I'll give you 40% of all profits and you just run it. She's like, will you train me? I was like, yeah, but it don't sound like you need much training. You just did it. So we ended up hiring her. I ended up training her, and now she's part owner. I ended up making her a part owner. So now she runs the business for me. So she's pretty much the primary operator in that company, and we're still operating it today, but we're just on a little bit smaller scale. We only do about 2 to 3 fund recovery deals per month, but we are one of only 20. There's only 20 certified state representative surplus fund companies in Georgia, and we're one of those 20. So we're certified with the state to actually help people recover surplus funds that have gone to the state level. You have to be certified with the state to be able to pull state funds, and we're certified.
That's pretty dope. So you sell real estate, right? What all areas of real estate do you cover? And what type of real estate do you like to sell and stuff?
So I primarily on the agent side, I'll do anything. I mean, I'll sell land, fix and flips, mansions, whatever. Anything that you want me to list, I'll list it for you. We'll do badass videos and we'll get it sold. As far as buyer agent, I don't like doing buyer agent stuff. I will do it, but I'm very, very picky with buyers. I'm not going to take on clients that are going to waste my time for 6 months. I'm way too busy for that. So they have to know exactly what they want, exactly what area they want to be in. And it's got to be something that's kind of convenient for me. And I'm probably going to have someone helping me as far as like going to show houses and stuff. Cause like, I can't show you 20 houses a week when I'm busy running 3 companies. But if someone wants to hire me as their buyer agent, I will help them and we will find them the perfect house. But I'm just real particular with that. But as far as listing and buying, I try to stay local to the West Georgia and Northwest Georgia areas. I'm not going to want to go show houses or sell houses in Macon, Georgia. It just don't make sense for me. I would rather just refer that out to somebody else. Or Albany, if someone sends me like, hey man, you want to list my house in Albany? I would probably reach out to you. You know what I'm saying? I would probably reach out to somebody else and be like, hey, do you want to take on this listing? It's 3 hours from me. I'm not doing that. But
I'm the same way. I mean, I don't cover areas that I'm not in, and I'm not gonna I'm real particular about who I want to work with because I've got several companies, and I don't just got the damn time to deal with all that bullshit,
Yeah. The worst thing is somebody wasting their time, and I just don't have time for that. I don't have time for people to be wasting it because I'm a busy person and I do have a life. So so my grandmother just actually went looking for a new house, and I was even her agent. I said no. I referred her out to somebody else because I know how she is, and I know how picky she is with buying houses and what she wants and her budget and everything. And I was like, it's not going to be worth my time. It's going to be she's going to drag me around for fucking 2 months, and I'm going to waste a bunch of time trying to show her houses. So I referred her out to somebody else that I know that was okay with that. But yeah, I'm very particular. I don't have the time to be wasted, just like you don't. And if you want to work with me, then you're gonna work with me because you know what I can do for you, and you know that I'm gonna be the best option for you in this area. If that's not okay with you, then find somebody else.
What kind of properties are you buying?
So as far as flips goes, I'm not super picky with flips. I buy burnouts, mold houses, tear downs, trailers, nice houses. It don't matter really to me. What matters most is just, does the numbers make sense? And is it in an area that I like to flip in? So I primarily like Paulding County, Cobb County, Douglas County, Carroll County, Bartow County, and Cherokee County. Those are like my 6 main areas. With that being said, I will venture out of those areas occasionally. But like people ask me all the time, like, do you buy 2-1s? Yes. Do you buy, 6-bedroom houses? Yes. I don't care. Do you buy burnout houses? I don't care. Do you buy houses that have foundation issues? I don't care. I can handle anything. We have our own in-house crews. We build new construction. We do full gut renos. it doesn't matter. There's nothing on a house that's going to scare me. It just, does the numbers make sense? You can't give me a $300,000 house and say, I want 250 for it. It's not going to work. But it doesn't matter if the house is 300,000, but it needs 200K worth of work. As long as I can get the price right, I'll buy it. So I mean, I've had houses where I had to do literally a 260K renovation on one house. I'll do that. And then I've also had houses where it don't need but like 10 grand. So it really don't matter to me. It just, like I said, the numbers have to make sense, and the area has to be in my area. I don't want to have to drive 2 hours to go renovate a house. I want to be able to just drive down the street, check on it, go back to the office.
I gotcha. I'm the same way. I mean, I buy the worst house, the best neighborhood, and we renovate the whole thing. But I'm kind of real specific to my areas as well, But I like to buy real shitty houses, and
that's all right. I prefer the shittier ones. I mean, with that being said, I mean, there's definitely some nice houses I bought. In fact, I got one right now I'm about to buy. Actually, today, it's closing today. Actually, I just realized. I have one right here in Dallas, Georgia, closing today, and it don't need but like nothing. It needs nothing. It needs like the deck repaired, pressure washed, a little bit of landscaping, and like flooring in the kitchen. That's it. It's like almost perfect. Which I hardly ever buy houses like that. Most of the houses I buy are like full guts. Like we got one right now that we're about to buy, and the house is worth about 260, and it needs 165K reno. So to put things in perspective, I mean it's pretty rough.
That's a big one.
But we're getting the house for like 50 grand. So buy it for 50 grand, you spend 165K on it, and you sell it for 250, 260. I mean, it's a pretty good deal.
I gotcha. Anything else you want to tell the people about yourself?
Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, man. If you want to see funny videos and get a laugh while also getting some real estate entertainment. I mean, I love posting stuff on social media, and I love doing deals with new people. If you're an agent, a wholesaler, or just a flipper, or if you're just a person. I mean, I love connecting with people and networking. So definitely feel free to network with me anywhere and give me a shout out if you see me doing something dumb.
What's your names on TikTok and Instagram?
So most everything is Kaotic with a K. It's Kaotic. If you just look up Kaotic almost on anything, you should see me pop up as number one. But it's Kaotic_res, which is I'll put it in this chat too, just so you can have it to post up. But yeah, it's just Kaotic_res on everything. Except for my Facebook, it's obviously Justin Shipp and the Kaotic Realtor. So you'll see that online, whatever. But what else? Is there anything else you want to talk about, man? Is there anything you want to ask me or anything like that?
I think that's about it, my man. And if any of y'all are in the area and y'all got something that y'all think that Justin might want to sell, or a very specific buyer, and you need an agent, or it's something you want to put on the market, or something he might be interested in, definitely hit him up. Y'all can find him on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. And I hope y'all enjoyed this River of Money podcast episode. If y'all are in the small business real estate space, you want to talk about y'all's business, definitely hit me up. Y'all can find me on Instagram @BurtonNewcomb. And I look forward to seeing y'all in the next episode. What you saying?
I was going to say, before y'all go, I mean, if anyone has any specific questions on real estate whatsoever, feel free to shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. I'm pretty active on all of them, and I definitely don't mind sharing knowledge and talking to anyone that has any questions. So just feel free to hit me up.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like a plan, Justin. I'll see you next time I'm up in the A, my man.
All right.
Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Thanks.